can't truly know a writer from one story. Story's a broad word. From one episode, let's say, because One Piece is one story, but like just there's so much of it. It's in a different category than say a short story. Both are stories. So we'll say episode. Because any one story, there can be plot reasons why you do this, that, or the other. Like, say you have a character who hates their parents. Well, there's a plot reason why they hate their parents, because if they didn't hate their parents, then they would gravitate towards the kindly older person in the group, confide in them, and then the plot wouldn't happen because they confide in the person who has the information they need. If they hate their parents, they would gravitate towards the younger people in the group, not anybody who feels like a parent. And so that way they never talk to the person who has the information they need. You see, a very random, I pulled out of my ass example, but that's an example where plot writes the characterization. You can't have him confide in this person, so you create a reason for why that's the case. But then somebody be like, oh, well, this author hates parents. You can't do that on one example. You need at least three. I've always said that the rule of three. You don't know if an actor is a good actor unless you've seen him in three different roles. You don't know what's happening with the writer unless you see a large sample size of their work. You cannot take anything from just one story. So, I wrote a couple of hundred episodes of audio plays. They range from 4 minutes long to 2 hours long. And if you were to read or listen to all 200, you'd have a very good grasp of me as a writer, what kind of person I am, what I'm interested in specifically. Not even really what kind of person I am, but what I'm interested in, what I'm obsessed with. You get a large sample size of a writer, Stephen King, for instance. I have a pretty clear idea what he's obsessed with, what he's interested in. I've read a lot of his stories. Dean Kuntz, same thing. John Irving, same thing. Who else have I read a lot of? Jim Butcher, I've read a lot of his stories. Even though it's the same series. I haven't read his other series. I've just read the Dresden Files. I've read a lot of his, so I know what he's interested in, what he's focused on. With me, you'd come away with the idea that I have a lot of problems with siblings, and siblings don't like each other, siblings who do like each other. I got shit I'm trying to work out with siblings, clearly, because I have a bad relationship with my own siblings. I'm way more interested in that, and way less interested in like romantic storylines and stuff with parents. I had closure with both my parents. There was no lingering issues I had to work out in my writing. So if bad parents exist in the story or good parents exist in the story, it's because of the plot. It's not anything I'm trying to work out. The siblings keep coming up. So, that's what you can draw from. Okay, so where does this pertain to One Piece? Well, he's done 770 of these, and I've watched them all. Now, again, this is being filtered through anime showrunners. So it's different than if I was reading his work directly. This is being filtered through other people. So you got to be careful what conclusions you draw here. But I have to say, this is a person who's obsessed with birds. It's a person who's obsessed with people combined with animals. That keeps coming up. It's a person who's obsessed with snot, and that's the one that just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what is your obsession with snot? Why are you obsessed with snot? Why? I don't understand. It's like Stephen King with vomit and liquid shit. Why is he obsessed with these things? They're disgusting. They add nothing to any experience. They add nothing to any story. Why is it there? You could say it's just there for texture, no pun intended. Same with the snot. He thinks it's funny, I guess. He is endlessly amused by snot, I think. So that's why that's there. But I'm not. So I don't understand. Okay, so we've got those three things. I've discovered a new thing he's obsessed with, though, which is what brought this up. Overly large heads. What is his obsession with overly large heads? This is at least the fifth character who has a head that's way too large for the body. This ninja guy. It makes me uncomfortable. It's abnormal. There's something about the large head, small body that just doesn't work for me. There was an NBA game where the characters had large heads, and it was actually a specific brand of is a video game. It's actually a specific brand of video game, and I think it was like 3-on-3, and came out in the mid to late 90s, as I remember it, because Reggie Miller is in it, right? So I remember I'd play as Reggie Miller, hit the 3-pointers and shit, right? So I didn't really like that because large heads made me uncomfortable. Like, what is that? It just feels weird, you know. Because like the thing is, unlike almost every other part of your body, you know, like your extremities are absolved, but you can have a large or small stomach. You can have large or small arms and legs with because of the musculature and the fat. You know, right? Like they can be various sizes. So you can have a body that's out of proportion with your head, like the body's too large because it's larger than it's supposed to be. You have legs that are too large. You have a large upper body and small legs. It depends on how you work out and what additives and stimulants and steroids and shit you take, right? And what your diet is. But the head is inhibited by skull size. I guess you could put a layer of meat over this, have more meat on the skull than most people do, and it can be a little bit larger. But I think one of the things that's disconcerting about this in nature, in real life, you don't have heads that are too large for the bodies. Maybe there's like some kind of disability or something or disease where that's the case, but like you don't really see that. So I don't know why the author lives there. I don't know why the author likes the large head thing. It's probably easier to draw the facial expressions, and heads are easier to draw than bodies because bodies are so much detail. You got the clothes, and there's all this detail with the clothes, and then maybe they have tattoos, and and then fingers and stuff. So like, if the head is large, if you're gonna fit this character in a panel, then the head's easy to draw, and then the body's smaller, so there's less detail needed. So maybe this he discovered that there is a quick and easy way to get these characters on the page and get out of this panel and get to the next panel really fast if they have a large head. Rather than if they have a proportional body, then that means you have to upsize the whole thing to fit to comfortably fit in the panel. It's not like a bunch of empty space. So then you have to draw more detail for the body, and that takes longer. As somebody who's driven, as somebody who's drawn hundreds of thousands of panels, like I don't know how many panels are in one issue, and I don't know how many issues he's done. He has to have drawn hundreds of thousands of panels at this point. As somebody who's done that, anything you can do to reduce the amount of time each panel takes, you're going to do it. So it could be it has nothing to do with obsessed with large heads. It's just economical. Like if you can bring in a character for a while, like Ivo, then that which was another one of these big head people, then it's just easier and quicker to just have the large head, small body, right? So that's probably what it is. It's probably functional in this case, unlike the first three cases I talked about. I think those three he's just obsessed. This one I think is probably a practical reason. Which is also why I've been told the guest stars will have more complicated clothing and tattoos and ornamentation and stuff than the main characters do, because you have to draw the main characters thousands of times more often than you have to draw the guest stars. So you can take your time and be elaborate and have some original material for the guest stars because they're not going to be around for very long. Anyway, those are my observations for now. Let's just keep going. Yeah, we are going on one. 3, 2, 1. Having to his head looks a little proportional in that one front shot. It's once he got up, he was unchanged. He started moving around. It was clearly too large, right? Anyway, them having to chain him up to keep him from outing himself, was great characterization. Before you even meet the character, you know something about him. He would have given himself up to protect his friends, right? I like that a lot. We still don't know the name of the Shogun. I don't know that it matters. It's probably someone I've never heard of, but I just want to know. You just a figurehead. Yep. I don't work with no damn figureheads. I ain't work with no goddamn figurehead. Yeah, it's about goddamn time. Hilarious. I approve this message. Screw that guy. We could have taken out the word ninja, clearly. They even mentioned that in the show. I hear the word Kaiser. That's a German word. Probably a person's name, Kaizen. Go brush your ears. Okay, so I thought it was like a magical imposition, like something was imposed on him magically. Because I've read fantasy stories where that's the case. Like there's a curse on him. Like only one can be awake at the same time, except under very extraordinary circumstances. That's what I thought was happening here. But it was by choice. They basically agreed, okay, we'll just divide the day. They don't have to be asleep half the day. That makes a lot of sense. Because it wasn't making sense they were awake at the same time if it was a curse, right? Good shit. Yeah. Get this son bitch. Even try guy. Yeah, we already decided this last episode. Can we just get moving? Look at his eyes shining. I'm telling you now. We gotta get him. God damn it. Can't we just leave him? Which means we gotta take care of Big Mom first. I am so uninterested in Big Mom. I can't even express to you how little interest I have. They've done for me personally, maybe other people are hype, right? For me personally, they've done nothing to intrigue me with her. She likes candy. I mean, just. Oh, I see. I thought he was gonna make them all go too. Yeah, so you say. Yeah, no, I don't think it is like that. She's so patronizing. Right? That's quite the laugh he's got there. It's probably one of my favorite laugh. I love his ship, man. That figurehead and that shit's probably my favorite figurehead. It's just an elf. It's a woolly mammoth head, right? But it just works for me. Well, they're back. So, read between the lines. Oh shit, who's that hanging? I like going back to Jesus. He beat the hell out of him. I guess not. That's why he punished him. You're my punching bag. Once he heard this shit, he left the fight. He left Duffy for his own devices and came back. Right. Fair enough. They've been reinforced. So Luffy's gonna go off on his mission, and everybody else is gonna have to fight these assholes. Well, that's one way to go about it. I don't like killing big things. That's quite the plan there. There would be one way to get rid of everybody, wouldn't it? Yeah. Imagine a man like that who's subservient to somebody else. He's subservient to Kato, which is interesting because we've seen Kato. Yeah. Everybody's seen that damn hat. Everybody knows Shanks. He'll betray you one day. Oh shit, really? I like that shot, man. Like I said, they don't do POV shots very often. I like that one. You can put it that way. Really, just a house cat and a house dog. Oh shit. Yeah, we don't need to go back to that. Whitebeard's not as interesting as Gold Roger. Just a little pup and a kitty. Buggy. He's got his notebook out. Nope. Yep. I like how Odin doesn't have a caricature. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We get it. He had really great rum. Really great exploration. Island that floats under sea. What if he's talking about Fishman Island or something else? Yeah, yeah, we're buddies again. Don't remind us. We don't do that traveling shit. Racist. Damn. Well, shit. He's so pressed, man. Anyway, I don't care about all that. That's that patented laugh, I guess, we get from Luffy. Of course, that's what he'd be interested in. Good shit. Will you make us a ship? They're really doing a lot of callbacks, man. That's right. I did it, and I'd do it again. Everybody knows somebody, right? What about their money? What's their bank account number? Does Raphael have any? Raftel does it have any treasure? Oh, okay. She's got an actual practical question. Guess that's a cliffhanger question. That's why she shut Brooke up. Hey, Brooke, shut the hell up. Nope, it's not okay. Really? So, is she bringing up a plot hole? Oh, I see. Yep, he's probably dead by now. Yep, Brooks Group. It has been a long time. Yeah, too late. She talking about. I get what they're saying here. Nice camera move. Right. I don't know why the captions are not fully showing here. I had it queued. I had it set up. Somehow it drifted up where it hiding half the captions. There it is. This knowledge is out there if you want to ask people. Nice transition. Oh, this is where we first found out about it. Okay. So people don't go there, or at least they don't know they're there. If they do go there. These episodes feel like it's a reset of the entire series right before we get to the next phase, which will be the end game, you know? You're going where you need to go. We didn't think they were. Well, we were going to keep going anyway, but thank you. Get off my back. You're dependable when money's not involved. Get off my back, I'll slap you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Whip his ass. Yeah, beating people senseless is a lot of fun. I'm telling you, man, it's just hilarious. People love it. I love the eye and mouth carved into the whale, right? The tree to make it look like a whale. Dude, that was 20 years ago. What are you talking about? That's what I'm saying. Something's going on with that. Is this kid age in reverse or some shit? No, that wouldn't work either, would it? Maybe he's frozen at a certain age. Oh, this is somebody we know. Is it Marco? Yes, it is. Marco. Booyah. Love this guy. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. Wow, that's very exciting. But like I was alluding to there, hey guys, remember what this series used to be about? Let's get this back on track. A lot of this feels almost like it's like fan feedback inspired, right? Like, because he's been doing this long enough, he's been getting feedback. He's big enough. There's a lot of feedback. For instance, there's been more character humor and there's been more character interactions, and like we've gotten like Nami's stuff and Robin's stuff and callbacks. Hey, remember Robin? Remember her backstory? Just in this past, like I've been recording. This session started with I think this session started with 768, right? So since 768, I've noticed there's been a lot of like return to form kind of signals here. It's like you got the characters bickering with each other and beating each other up, and that kind of humor has been back for the first time in a long time. And Robin's backstory has been brought up for the first time in a long time. The Nami, the Navigator, has been brought up. Sanji and his backstory. Hey, let's do something with Sanji. The original Straw Hats, some of the earliest members of Straw Hats, are getting shine for the first time in quite a while. You know, so it feels like he's getting feedback. Hey, what about the original crew, man? Like, why are they in the background? Like, why are we not doing anything with them? Why don't they get any shine anymore? And why don't they bicker and have fun and chase each other around anymore? And what about the mysteries that started the whole series? They don't seem like they care about that anymore. They just cared about kicking people's asses and going from fight to fight. And the original mission that we started on, in the military, they call it mission creep, right? You have a mission and you get out there and you start interacting, you start doing things, and you have to, okay, well, we can't go this way. Let's take a right, and we're supposed to take a left. Let's take a right. So then you take a right. Well, then you go down that path. It's like, well, we really need to circle back around and get back to where the mission is, but we can't go that way because there's a volcano. So let's keep going straight. And then the next time there's an opportunity to go that way, there's a bunch of large spiders, so we can't go that way. We have to keep going straight. They call it mission creep. you can't get to where you're going, so you do something else, and before long, doing something else is what your mission has turned into, right? Mission creep. And so there's been a lot of mission creep in this series, and then there's in what if you've been I've been watching this from the beginning in chronological order, so I'm kind of seeing the totality of the series, kind of like not in one sitting because it's been over a year, but it hasn't been 26 years, so it's all still kind of like one piece, no pun intended. So you don't do a thing where it's like you watch a bunch of it, take 2 years off, then go back and watch a bunch more and take time off. Like I'm seeing it all together. And what I've noticed is this feels like a course correction. It feels like, return to form. It feels like fan feedback inspired, or maybe even self scouting. Like he's scouting himself. Wait a minute, these are the things that I'm not doing anymore. I'd like to get back to that. That's what this feels like. And it's welcome. I'm enjoying it, and I'm glad. But like, it definitely feels like there's just all of a sudden, because this has been the weirdest story arc we've had. There's no antagonist in the present. A little bit. There's been a little bit of antagonism in the present. You had the Capone was an antagonist. And then you had the threat of antagonism where the dog and cat are going to fight each other, or they're going to potentially fight the samurai, which didn't transpire. The antagonism has happened in the flashbacks. Here's what happened before you got here, right? So there's no enemy in the story arc. It's just all about resetting. Let's reset what the show is. Let's reset the characters. Let's reestablish what our mission is. And this is our goal. And some of the questions are asked. Like maybe the question about what Crocus told them and then what they've been doing since then feels fan inspired. It feels like, hey, wait a minute. People asking convention, what about this? Here's what he said here, but here's what you've been doing ever since then. This doesn't make sense. Can somebody explain this to me? You literally had Nami be one of the fans asking the question to the author, and the author using the dog to answer the question. That's totally what that feels like. I could be off on some of this, but like that's what it feels like. And this is, considering how long the story's been going and how large of a story it is, you need these way station points. Let's stop here. Like if you're traveling and you stop overnight at a hotel, this is what this arc has felt like. You're stopping at a hotel, you take a shower, you do your laundry, you relax, and you reestablish. Okay, look at the map. Wait a minute, we kind of got off course here. This is the way we're supposed to be going. You have time to do this now because you're stopped and you're reassessing. That's what this feels like, and it's welcome. So it encourages me for what we're getting moving forward.